Why did the employee who kept the entire business alive finally snap? My bosses called me the problem guy, not because I liked solving problems, but because I could fix any error in our startup's spaghetti code and single-handedly keep the company alive. For 3 years, I was their secret weapon, grinding 90-hour weeks while they dangled equity that never came. It started with a Craigslist post, "Need someone who codes." The interview was in a garage with 3 Stanford MBAs who'd burned through 5 devs. The codebase was a demolition site React tangled with jQuery, no docs, variables named thing, and stuff new final 2. The last engineers rage quit and left smoke. "Can you fix this?" Brad, the CEO, asked, pointing to a crash loop that had taken the site down every 3 hours for a month. I fixed it in 40 minutes, hired on the spot. The first 6 months were golden. I stopped our first catastrophic crash during an investor demo. Brad toasted me. To Daniel, the MVP, Jessica, the CFO, cried when I recovered 3 months of lost data. Word spread, I could fix anything. By year 2, I was the entire engineering team in one body. 40 hours became 90. I deployed at 3 a.m. while Brad posted from Burning Man. I hot patched during Thanksgiving while leadership flew to Turkey for a retreat. They kept me alive on promises. After Series A, you're getting equity. Then after B, then right before C. I was 24 and thought hard work meant something. The joke was on me. They introduced me to investors as Daniel, our little helper from community college. Then panic texted when their demos crashed. At parties, they told the story of rescuing me like a stray dog. I kept shipping and kept believing. Then we filed for IPO. I asked Brad over Slack about my equity. He replied with a laughing emoji, "You were never technically an employee, Daniel. Contractor. No equity for contractors." The next morning, they announced a 500 mailer valuation. My mythical 1% would have been 5 mailers. They gave me a $500 bonus and a pizza party. That night, I opened the code I'd shepherded for 3 years. Every system carried my fingerprints, including the insurance I built at 3 a.m. Dead man switches disguised as boring error handling. Not sabotage, not destruction, just a message if the one promise that kept me sane turned out to be a lie. NYSE opening day was perfect. Brad rang the bell at 9:30. The stock opened at $47. At 9:31, every major function returned the same string. Equity not found. Not a crash, a mirror. Every page, every API, every mobile screen. Phones melted. They called me 17 times. I didn't answer. By close, $50 in value had evaporated. On Bloomberg, Brad ranted about cyber terrorism. I sent a single email to tech reporters. Screenshots of Slack where they strategized to string me along. "Just keep the code monkey thinking he'll get equity until IPO," Brad wrote. "Daniel actually thinks he's getting shares. Thank God he's too stupid to know his worth." The TechCrunch headline the next morning. IPO faceplant exposes startup labor exploitation. Other contractors surfaced with similar stories. Investors demanded answers. The board called an emergency session. 3 knocks on my door that afternoon. A process server with a $50 million lawsuit accusing me of cyber terrorism. They were suing a guy in a 1-bedroom with a folding table for a desk. I found Conrad, a lawyer who lives for tech messes. He read everything, the promises, the Slack contempt, my warnings about brittle systems that leadership ignored. He filed a whistleblower complaint with the SEC and countersued for wage theft and misclassification. Their counsel offered $50K and a gag order. Conrad laughed and countered $800K and immunity. We prepped for mediation like it was an incident war room. I built a deck, architecture maps, incident timelines, and the emails where I flagged single-point failures and got silenced. A board member went pale reading Brad's reply. Daniel's being dramatic again. Their engineers admitted they didn't understand half the stack I'd stabilized. One of them apologized to my face. We settled for $400K with narrow speech limits. In exchange, I spent 10 hours walking their team through the triggers and how to disable them safely. They got their stack back under control. Brad resigned a month later quietly. He landed another VP title 2 weeks after guys like him always do. That's fine. They kept the champagne. I kept the receipts.